Tone on the saxophone is the most important thing. I mean, it really is, because on a piano or a guitar, it's so mechanical. On a piano, to get a nice tone out of a piano, you strike a key, the key lifts the hammer strikes the string, and you get a consistent and predictable sound pretty much every time. Now, I know there's some pianists out there saying, no you won't, it depends how you hit it. I know, but if I hit a key as a complete beginner and somebody hits a key as a concert pianist, the sound that we're going to get for most people's ears is very, very, very similar. And on a saxophone, it just isn't like that. It's not a mechanical thing. It's muscle and breath and spit, and it's really organic. It's a really, really organic, much more organic way of producing a tone. So everything has to be lined up exactly right if you want to get a good tone. So the first thing is to be, I think, is to be mindful and actually, when you're practicing your scales, instead of just stomping up and down the scale, I want you to play a scale. So I'm just going to play C major on my alto saxophone, and I'm just going to try and move as gracefully and as beautifully from one note to the next note as I possibly can. So like this. And I'm thinking about how I address each one of those notes. Am I using my tongue? How hard I'm blowing? I'm just really thinking in a mindful way of just tone production and just creating. What are we trying to create when we play a note, or if we want to get a good tone? We're trying to make a nice, straight, consistent sound that is beautiful and not moving around. So a lot of beginners tend to so you can hear that note is moving around a lot, and that's what I want to try and reduce. And the way that I'm able to make that moving around sound is my bottom lip is moving around, not exactly chaotically, but it's not very firm. So this is something that we need to be able to have. We need to be able to have a firmness in our lip. Now, there is a difference between firmness and tightness. Now, my 14-year-old son, Charlie, sometimes he gives me a hug and he squeezes me so tight. I feel like my eyes are going to pop. So that's tight. But if I give him a hug, he can feel my strength and my power, but I'm not squeezing the living daylights out of him. That's the distinction between firmness and tightness, right? There is a difference. And what we want is our bottom lip to be really, really firm and supportive of the reed so that it's not moving around. So if I play a G on my alto, I'm trying to play a really, really nice straight note. Now what this is going to do, if I practice this, is it's going to get my muscles used to locking in to getting a really nice note on the sax and strengthening out the muscles in my face. Another thing that we can think about when it comes to tone is the position of your bottom lip. Now, generally speaking, as beginner saxophone players, we tell people to put your bottom lip over your bottom teeth inside your mouth and then play like this. Now, what we can do is to think about getting that bottom lip out. So this is with my bottom lip in and with it out. And because there is more lip there, when I've got my lip out, it's a bigger, fatter, richer sound because it's got a fuller lip that is supporting the reed. So I'm going like this, I'm imagining that this is my lip and the reed is on the top. You've got a bigger, fatter, fuller lip than if the lip is curled in. It's a kind of a bit thinner. So the bigger and stronger you can make your bottom lip, the better sound you're going to have. When it comes to recording, if you're going to record on your phone, it's just going to sound terrible. Saxophones do not sound well if they're recorded on really super basic equipment like a phone. It's not the worst thing in the world, and if that's all you've got, then fair enough. What you can do as an upgrade from that is that you could get a USB microphone or a microphone which is compatible with your phone and plug it in. That's going to make all the difference in the world. I think the microphone in a standard smartphone, very, very, very good for normal purposes, but not really for recording something as acoustically sophisticated as a saxophone. It's just not going to work. This mic here is a Rode NT1/A. It's a really, really fantastic microphone for the price range, which is about just over 100 UK pounds. Really, really good microphone. So that's going to make all the difference in the world, because it doesn't matter how nice a tone you produce when you're standing in your practice room, if you're trying to record it on terrible equipment, it's not going to sound very good at all. Other things that are going to make your sound really, really nice are putting some vibrato on the end of a note. So the way that I'm doing that is with my firm lip, which I've practiced playing very, very, very solid, is now moving up and down very slightly. It feels huge. You know when you've got a twitch in your eye? Have you ever had that? When you get a twitch in your eye and it feels like your whole eye is going like this, and then you look in the mirror and you can't see anything, but you can really, really feel it. That's how it feels when I'm doing vibrato. It feels like my jaw must be going up and down like this, but actually it's a very, very small, barely noticeable movement if you have a look objectively. Getting a great mouthpiece it's going to be super hard to get a nice tone if you've got like a really, really basic mouthpiece. And if you've got like a cheap saxophone, couple of, few £100 beginner saxophone, chances are the mouthpiece that it came with is fairly basic. So upgrade your mouthpiece and you're going to get a better sound. The mouthpiece that I like to use on an alto sax is a Mayer 5 medium chamber, and that seems to make a really, really good sound for me. I know a lot of people use other mouthpieces. That's just the one that I've used, and I've been using it for years and years and years. So a good mouthpiece is going to make all the difference in the world. And if you're on a limited budget and you're thinking about, should I upgrade my saxophone? An easy way to upgrade your saxophone without upgrading your saxophone is to upgrade your mouthpiece. The mouthpiece is going to be super significant, and also the relationship between the mouthpiece and the reed and the ligature, making sure that first of all that's all set up correctly. If it's not set up correctly, you can be the best player in the world, but you're not going to make a good sound because your mouthpiece is not set up correctly. Another exercise for you, here's one. Learn to play quietly. So see if you can hear this. So that is a really, really, really good exercise. And my own story is that I used to live in London in a upstairs flat. Living in a flat taught me to play like this. And I'm convinced that playing like that for years really, really helped with my embouchure and helped me to develop a nice sound. If you think my sound is in fact nice on the sax, which I hope you do. I do hope that was helpful for you. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. They tell me that I should tell you to subscribe and share my videos. You can have a Zoom lesson with me, or you can just do none of those things. Whatever you do, I do hope you found it useful. See you soon.